I have some excellent news today for people who are hoping to buy their dream car. Auction prices have revealed that JDM cars are declining in price, and that's good news because they could be becoming affordable again. And I'm talking about the big stuff. I'm talking about Supras, Skylines, and not just JDM stuff either, even classics like the Jaguar E-Type and stuff. Watch this video to see what I'm on about. The Honda Integra Type R is one of the most sought after JDM cars ever made. In COVID, these famously sold for over $200,000. However, they seem to be dropping back to much more, reasonable prices, especially the saloons. However, even the coupes have started dropping. However, in the UK, I found this one that auctioned for £8,600. JDM car which sold for huge prices was this, the Toyota Supra, especially the twin-turbo manual cars. However, prices seem to have calmed down a bit. They are far from the six-figure cars that they used to be a few years ago. Nowadays, you can find a Supra unmodified for around £40,000, and there are cars which are sold for even less than that. Here is a twin-turbo automatic Supra that sold for £18,000. Here is an absolute dream car for me, the Honda NSX, especially the original ones with the pop-up headlights. This was one of the best supercars of its day, and another JDM legend which normally sells for around £60,000 to £70,000. However, I found an automatic one which is actually better that sold for about £40,000. No, 35. R34 Skylines are super expensive, or at least they were. These were six-figure cars. 120,000 for, let's face it, one in not the best shape. These things are incredibly sought after. In fact, they were expensive when they were new. So nowadays, you'd think that they'd still be expensive. However, auctions say something different. I've got two listings here, both of which will shock you. Here's one pretty normal looking Skyline, midnight purple, 69,000, and here's an M-Spec for 76,000. Now this is a car I've been wanting to feature on YouTube for a long time. The Ford Escort RS Turbo. This is one of the most legendary cars from the 1990s. These things were beloved by British tuners, and they have a turbocharged engine, a real first for a Ford. These things were notoriously tricky to handle. In fact, many of them ended up in ditches, which is why they're so rare. These used to be super affordable. And then they got expensive, around 30 grand. But now, a recent auction puts this at the 14,000 mark. Fairly reasonable. The Datsun 240Z. This is one of the best sports cars ever made. It looks incredible. It was more affordable than an E-Type, and it was super fast. Well, for its day. Anyway, these are another famously expensive classic car, and well, they have been out of reach for the longest time. They normally fall around the £40,000 to £50,000 mark. However, they have been falling slightly. I'm not sure why. Maybe the people who grew up with them are now moving into Bentleys. Here's one that is modified, but it still went for 25. The E-Type is one of the prettiest cars in the world. In fact, Enzo Ferrari said so himself, that it was the most beautiful car in the world. This is the Series 2, 4.2 litre, a bit more powerful than the Series 1, and it's able to go over 150 miles an hour. Now, this one sold for 29,000. Mitsubishi Evo 6 is a classic rally legend. This is the Tommy Mäkinen edition, one of the most sought after Evos ever made. These sell for £45,000 to £60,000. At least they used to. This one had the famous Tommy Mäkinen livery and was designed to look like the rally car, only you could buy it from factory. Here's one that's sold for £30,000. And lastly we have this, the prettiest sports car from the 90s, the Mazda RX-7. This car came packed with a twin-turbo rotary engine. Now I could explain how that works, but I can't really be bothered. Anyway, just have a look at this thing. It is beautiful. 276 horsepower going to the rear wheels via a 5-speed manual transmission. Now, these have been going up in price, some of up to 40,000, but they are coming back down. Here's one that sold for 18,000, unmodified.